What's up, my fellow movie nerds? My name's Barry King, and I am that weird movie nerd. Now, before we start this video, I gotta say this is the first video that we're recording in the daytime. So let's go. Oh, no! Saw 2, Darren Lynn Bousman, however you want to say it, returns from Saw 2 and makes a movie. James Bond, however, is back, but he's not in the director's chair, he's in the writer's chair this time. So that's good, he gets to get back to his movies again in some way. Now, my friend has lent me these Saw movies. On the DVD cover, it says, better than Saw 1 and 2 combined. And, Steve Tilley, Toronto Sun, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? What? Movies are subjective, movies are subjective, movies are subjective. Now, right out of the gate, there's one thing I hate about this movie, and that it fails to be a Saw movie. But then there's one thing I really love about this movie, and that's that it fails to be a Saw movie. This one was so confusing to me because they did what you've got to do with every horror slasher, and that's focus on the characters. More, if not an equal amount, to what's happening in the whole story, like the killer and all that. And they did this here, except they focused on the killer while there was still killings going, and they wanted us to feel sympathy for this killer, I think. But there were killings happening. This movie confused my little brain. I love the ending to this. I love when endings say, hey, you remember that thing back there that wasn't connected to anything, but we showed it anyways? Well, this is the reason we showed it. And then they like tie everything to this one conclusion at the end. I love when movies do that. But this movie, I didn't like it when it did that, but I did like it, if you know what I mean. So within the first few minutes, we see Detective Matthews, and it introduces us to Saw in all its gore. How he breaks his foot, gets out of the chain, and then that's it. And then he's gone for the rest of the movie. In the second movie, it was all about him. We didn't really conclude his story, so that's what Saw 3 is gonna be. We're gonna conclude Matthew's story. But no, we didn't do that. We concluded it, but we didn't conclude his character. He just went, and that's it. No more Matthews. And then the detective that we had in the second movie, yeah, she was in the second movie. We didn't really finish her character off as well. So let's bring her into this third movie and we'll finish her character off. No, let's kill her as well and not conclude her character. Why? You have these characters and then you set them up and then you don't finish them. Stop doing that. Now, I get that, like, it's more realistic if that happens, because in real life, if people die, their story doesn't conclude. They just die, and that's it. If they had a birthday cake they were making and they died, they're not going to get to make that birthday cake. So that's plausible, but this is a movie. This isn't real life. In a movie, we need conclusion. We need these characters to be finished off. Don't kill them, finish their story, then kill them. By far, this is definitely the most gruesome Saw in the franchise so far out of the first two movies. At the end of it, I was feeling sick, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't be watching this shit. But yeah, it's definitely the most gruesome, from when at the start Matthews hit his foot and broke it, to the end where that guy, the murderer's got his head twisted and all that, and oh, it was disgusting, but that's what the Saw fans love, and I don't particularly love it that much, but it's cool to see what they can do in filmmaking and how far they can push it and how realistic they can make it. I like seeing how it wasn't really retconned, but like I liked how this movie went back to the other movies and gave some extra story to it. Like in the first movie, how the bathroom scene, John was in the middle the entire time. In the first review I put out on Saw 1, I said, how can he stay still that long? And that's because he took a drug. He took a drug to relax his muscles and slow his heartbeat. And it's things like that. It's pretty neat. And then also how the guy from the first movie who survived, not the one who escaped, but who was still locked in the bathroom, how he was actually killed by Amanda. I like that, because I thought he just died from being there for too long. But no, Amanda killed him, and that's a big part of the story. That's where I'm a bit conflicted about this movie. Alright, let me just this is a rant review, so I'm gonna go my hardest at a little rant right here. From before Saw 1, when John captured Amanda and put her in that trap, and then I guess it would have been in Saw, yeah, it was in Saw 1 that she was partnered with him. He was training her from Saw 1 through Saw 2, all the way up to Saw 3 to become the next predecessor as Jigsaw. Now, I may be mistaken, but wasn't John a new murderer? Like, before Saw 1, hadn't he only done like two or three murders? He would have gone into this and he would have grabbed Amanda and been like, here, I will train you to be the next Jigsaw. Except he was fairly new in this thing. How would he have known that, like, he wouldn't have been captured so early, or if his work would be publicized like it was, or like any of that stuff? Like, how would he have known that much to want to pass it on to somebody? I can see that from the start he's had this vision and he's like, alright, so Jigsaw's gonna be this concept, this thing that goes on forever. It's past my death. So he's like, oh, Amanda's here, I might as well just train her so that she can be the next Jigsaw after I die. I kind of see that, but like, it's going so far-fetched that it's like, you did this to do this, but you didn't know this, and yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a bit far-fetched in that sense. And it's a bit far-fetched that he was training her through those movies as well. It's kind of retconned her, but I can see what they're doing with it. So I guess that's okay, but it's very, very, very weird. It's very like, hey, you gotta believe this thing. There's no tangible evidence, but you gotta believe it. There's also really... Don't. Oh, you bitch! The mic died. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, Amanda. Amanda's been very confusing across these movies. I might have missed it because I was on my phone a lot in these movies because they can be very boring sometimes, but why does Amanda want to work with Jigsaw after he tried to kill her? Now, I get that, like, it could be this sinister, like, oh, he's given me this new life, I want to serve him, he's my master, my daddy. No. But like, wouldn't you, with your new life, have a new life and not turn to crime after you were just doing drugs? Possibly? Now, I probably missed something, but I don't get her, like, seriously, what is her obsession? That's all I gotta say. What is her obsession? Actually, I also want to say how much she makes John look like less of a psychopath, if that's even possible. Like, don't get me wrong, John is still a psychopath, but Amanda, with her murdering and all that, just takes it to a whole new level, and it kind of makes you see what John is saying, that he doesn't like murdering and all that, he just likes giving people an option, and you can kind of see it alongside Amanda, where she just wants to murder them and give them no option or no way out of these traps, where John wants to give them an option and a new life. I'm not saying we should start doing this, but I'm just saying how much it brings this humanity to John. Now, I haven't at all talked about the two main protagonists because they confuse me as well. Dr. Lin and Jeff. Now, first things first. Why could you have not made the whole freaking movie about Jeff? That is the best Saw concept. That's the best Saw moment out of any Saw movie I've seen so far, is Jeff's whole journey through that thing, and we saw jack shit about it. I would not have been mad if you made the whole movie about Jeff and completely threw everything that happened in the past two movies out the window and just continued on with this Saw thing. I loved that thing, and they just didn't do anything about it. I get how it was connected to the main story, but like, that was so cool. And we got, why do you keep returning off, you bitch? But then instead they focus on this whole John and Amanda thing, and then Lynn is a whole different story. She was never in like any trap. She was in a trap, but she was never like really challenged, except she was, but it wasn't a Saw challenge. It was more like, save this person and you win challenge. And she didn't save the person because she died, but I was confused at the start as well. She was with that guy. Was she having an affair, or was that actually Jeff? I can't remember. It wasn't Jeff, was it? When she was in the bedroom with that guy and he said he wanted a divorce? That wasn't Jeff, was it? So then I was like, wait, who's Jeff? Who's this guy? If He wants divorce. Is he husband, or is Jeff husband, or is Jeff ex-husband, or I don't know what to make of it all. I loved how it was connected in the end. There wasn't much Saw in this. There was Saw, but like it wasn't the main focus, which I like, and I like how they're concluding John's story. But this isn't Jigsaw, and this is one thing I wanted to say in the first movie review as well, is why did they call it Saw? Why didn't they call it Jigsaw? Now I haven't seen the Jigsaw movie, but I'm guessing they're making that to talk about Jigsaw. But I'm guessing they didn't have that in the workings in the back of their mind when they were making Saw 1. So why didn't they just call it Jigsaw? That would have been way much better. This video's gone on for way too long. There's a lot more stuff I want to say about Jeff and Linda, the doctor, whatever her name was, Lynn or something. But I don't have the vocabulary nor the filmmaking knowledge to say it. I've said what I wanted to say. There's a lot more detail and depth I can go into if I actually wanted to write a whole essay about it. But we're not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to give this movie a 2 out of 5. I gave the first Saw 2.5 because of its filmmaking mistakes. I gave Saw 2 a 3 out of 5 because it didn't make the same mistakes that the first one made. But this one's just not Saw. I like it, but it's very weird to talk about because there's so much wrong with it that isn't Saw. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If I said anything wrong, if I said anything right, comment below and talk about it, and I will probably comment back and we can have a little rant down there, because I like talking about movies even if I'm wrong. If you have a movie you want me to watch or you think I like, send it down into the comments. I'll pick it out. I'll watch it after a few years once I get through the thousands and hundreds of movies I have to watch already. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a very good day. See you in the next review.